Success. Media. Network. 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 Network.
This is your show.
Good day, successors. I'm Antonio Holman, and welcome to the 4 Principles of Success, number 29, where I chat with successful people and entrepreneurs about how they enhance their businesses and lives in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Today, we're talking to Linda Lavender. Linda is located in Land O'Lakes, Florida, and is the founder and owner of Eat2Live LLC, a one-year mentoring and coaching program designed for people who want to heal, lose weight, and get into shape across the country. Linda specializes in guiding members in the healing and weight loss process through deeply personal and intimate relationships centered around each member's own health aspirations and goals. As well as being a health coach and mentor, Linda is also world-renowned for her unending fruit and veggie puns, love of kale, and passion for healing. Linda, are you ready to help our listeners prepare for success?
Absolutely. I am so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great. Thank you for being here. Linda, let's start by you telling us a little bit about your personal life.
Well, sure. My personal life kind of helped me create my personal one. And that's what I'm most passionate about, is what I also get to spend most of my time doing. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm here in Land O'Lakes, Florida. A girl never tells her actual age. And I really am in love with fruits and vegetables. I became very sick a few years ago and wanted to get healthy naturally. I wanted to cure some of the ailments that I had naturally. And so my life morphed into this journey of trying to heal my own body and meeting other people who were healing theirs. I'm a mother and a wife. I have 2 awesome boys, 13 and 11 years old. And in our small, beautiful little bungalow of a home, we also have 2 dogs, a cat, and a parrot.
So for those who may not know what Eat2Live LLC is, tell us about what it is and what specifically inspired you to create it.
Eat to Live to Love is my child, kind of like most businesses are to entrepreneurs. They're your baby. And like most entrepreneurs, my product, my service came to being out of my own passion and my own need. Doctors were able to prescribe me a lot of medications. I was able to go to the gym and I was able to work out my physical body. And if I so wanted to, I could go talk to a therapist or a psychologist about my life or my career goals. But when I became ill with the autoimmune diseases that I have, such as lupus, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, and a slew of others, I noticed that I was getting a whole lot of expensive care, but I wasn't getting any better. Eat2Live helps both individuals and small businesses through my unique one-year mentoring and coaching program. And this is for folks not just here locally to us, but all around the country. We even have members that are from around the world. As I was researching on how I could get better and get off of 5, 6, 7, 8 medications, I realized that what I ate, how I felt about myself, and how I treated my body were lacking severely. I would be in bed eating a McDonald's Happy Meal and a bag of M&Ms and slurping down a soda, and in the same moment complaining that my body didn't feel good and I didn't know why, and I didn't know how to make it better. So over the years, I've done a lot of research and tried a lot of practices and methods to healing my body and others holistically through what we eat, which is getting on generally a clean, whole food diet. That's usually the start of it. But I was able to transform my life, and other people's lives have since been transformed. So when it got to the point that I was so busy helping hundreds of people around the country and, hey, I'm ready, I think I'm healthy enough to go back to work. Now what do? Do I leave these people behind, this knowledge that I've gained and this life-changing experience that I've had and that others have had, to go back into my industry? No, I couldn't do it. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, it's that quiet knocking that we all feel at our heart's door. We know what we should be doing, but we aren't doing it. And after being so sick that I couldn't walk, I was literally wheelchair bound, I had a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do, what I should have done, and what I regretted. And so when I had the opportunity, I decided to turn my purpose, my passion, and other people's successes into a business. And that is how we created Eat to Live to Love.
That is interesting you say that, the part about what we have knocking at our heart's door that we need to get out to other people. And we kind of go through an inner debate with ourselves. Should I say something? Should I not? I mean, me personally, which is kind of connected to why I created this podcast, being around people who do not, or maybe even choose to not have the knowledge that I've gained over the last maybe 20 years about health. You see these people, you see them suffer, and you see them complain. And then you go through the thought, well, should I say something about what I know? How are they going to take it? Are they going to lash back at me? Or should I just keep things good and just keep on moving forward with myself and not help someone? You know what? As a human being, you just have to help. You got to help somehow. You have to at least give the information in order to at least make yourself feel a little bit better inside.
True. And the other thing is this. It's not our responsibility to have people change their lives. It's their responsibility. But I do believe that if we're put on this earth and we all have a passion and we all have a purpose, and if we don't say something and we don't speak up and we don't reach out to people who are suffering, then the problem only gets wider. The problem only gets bigger. And then at some point, most of us come to find that tragedy strikes us. Mm-hmm. And it is in those moments that we wish that somebody would reach out to us, whether it's somebody online or somebody in the street, or maybe just a friend you haven't talked to in a while. And I know that through my own personal tragedies that I needed that, and I know that my members, they need that as well. So it is becoming on us as leaders to make sure that we give that first. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So overall, how do you feel that your knowledge of food has really changed your life?
That's a longer discussion than we probably have time for. I was eating the standard American diet, which meant that I would probably befall and have heart problems or diabetes by the time I was in my mid-50s or 60s. I would have been chronically tired. I would be constantly forgetting things, and I'd be out of shape. Once I started eating clean, meaning eating fresh fruits and vegetables, making sure that half of those are what I'm eating at least, right, before consuming processed foods or fried foods or deli meats and breads and those sorts of things, but to eat clean. The first thing I started noticing is that I didn't have as much inflammation. I slept better. And then I started making smoothies, which was a blast. But if you've ever filled up an entire blender with a banana and pineapples and kale and spinach, that's a lot to drink. And I don't know about you, but I couldn't drink 20 ounces of smoothies every single day. And at the same time, I also wasn't going to eat an entire bushel of kale. So I started juicing. Juicing is just liquefying fruits and vegetables, basically. No pulp, no fiber. You're just getting the juice. So I started juicing. Once that happened, a lot of my ailments that I didn't believe were connected to anything, such as my arthritis, my insomnia, my mood, my hair, my nails, my skin, the sheen on my face, everything got better in my life once I started juicing. And I also lost the belly weight that almost all women complain about. And if they've had children, then a lot of them complain about, that the baby fat. I started losing the baby fat when I got off the sugar and I started juicing more. It's been the best thing in my life.
I think that the best money I've ever spent is my Vitamix.
Yes.
I love that thing, and I'll never want to part with it. It's the best thing I've ever bought.
Between the juicer and making smoothies, and we also have our little herb garden out back where we can pull fresh herbs. It's the entire lifestyle. It's not just what you eat. It's really how you feel and how those things change your perspective on life in general. You just become a little bit more of a happier, gentle human being all around.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. What do you think is the very first step a person should take when they're deciding to change their life and their health for the better?
My advice would first be to change your mindset on what's possible. It's a very simple concept, but it's one that I think we cannot labor enough. I've had to learn that every problem can have a solution. You just have to change the way you structure your problem. So a lot of folks may say, I don't know how, period. This is the fear hiding more as an excuse, right? So the next step after that is to say, I don't know how, comma, but I'll learn. And just adding that but is your promise to yourself that you will. And that's really step 2. Your next step would be, I don't know how, comma, so I'll learn. Right? So now you're taking implementation, you're creating action. And as an entrepreneur, almost everything that you face, you're afraid of. And many of the things you don't know how to do. So the first thing is to change your mindset on what's possible. And it just starts with a simple statement, but it can grow into a mindset. And that's really the first advice that I would give.
Powerful words, powerful. Now, what was your first entrepreneurial venture and how old were you?
Well, I never sold lemonade. And a lot of the ventures that I went on weren't legal businesses. I just did good things and nobody paid me for it.
I think we've all been there and done that one.
So I did that for many years. Eat2Live to Love is the first business venture that I've been on, and I don't even really look at it as a business. It really is just my life.
What do you feel are the ways entrepreneurs can expand their reach and build their tribe?
Read. I think the first thing you want to do is read. Read about topics that you don't know about or that you would like to know about. Get comfortable with that subject. And then start growing locally. We're all on Facebook, we're all on Twitter, and we all have lots of fickle friends online. But if you try to get those fickle friends to take action for you to help you with things, they might not. So I recommend finding other local businesses, and just like anybody else will tell you, find people who are already doing what you're doing and ask them, how did you get to where you are? Ask a lot of questions. But you can make something as simple as a long list. You can get onto Google and find every business that, or mentor even, that you think is going to meet your needs. Write them down, throw them into Evernote, put them in your notebook, and then call every single one of them. Email every single one of them. Knock on every single one of those doors. And just taking those opportunities, that's going to open up the door to what's possible for you.
Man, that's really good because this day and age, we're surrounded by the lure of worldwide communication. But I've heard time and time again that when you start locally, you can be more successful more quickly. And I'm still actually struggling with that aspect of my organization as well. So I love that advice you just gave.
I think doing things that make you feel uncomfortable are the first things that you should do. So when you start asking yourself, why isn't my business successful? How come these areas haven't grown the way I want them to? Start asking yourself ridiculous questions. Have I gone door to door to every house in my neighborhood? Have I gone to every single business to just shake their hand, get in their face and say, hi, here I am, here's me, here's my company, here's how we can help you? If you haven't done all of those things, then you have to look inward and ask yourself why. And more than likely is because you're afraid of rejection. And it's weird and it's scary. And nobody else is really doing that besides people who want to cut your grass or fix your roof, right? So why should you? But the question you need to ask is, why shouldn't you?
More powerful words. That's good. I'm loving this. Now, Linda, life is ups and downs. You know, who knows what's around the corner for us. So with that, tell us what your most unsuccessful time in your life was.
That's a very great question. The two most difficult times of my life and unsuccessful lives were I was in a very high-paying job. I managed about 60 people and made a nice, comfortable income. I had excess money. I could buy anything that I wanted. I could go anywhere that I wanted. But I felt like an absolute shell. Every morning I got up and I put on clothes that I didn't really like. I did my hair and my makeup to look attractive for people that I didn't care about. And I went off and I spent an hour in traffic to go somewhere that I believed underpaid me to do things that I wasn't really interested in. And although on the outside everything seemed fine, I had, beautiful flower beds in front of my house. I had dinner on the table. We even had a nanny. But absolutely none of that brought me joy. And it's for that reason that I say that it was one of my most unsuccessful time periods of my life, because I followed what the world and what society told me success was versus taking the time to find out what success meant to me. The second time that I was feeling very unsuccessful was when I was very ill. And battling physical illness is a lonely thing. You can be in a room with 10 other people that are all suffering from the exact same thing as you. However, it's only you that goes to bed at night in pain, that wakes up crying, that has to struggle with the day-to-day obstacles that you have. I felt unsuccessful because for a very long time I depended on others to give me my title, to give me my worth. And so when doctors told me that there is nothing we can do for you but make you comfortable, I accepted that. And I don't believe that I should have. It took a long time before I was brave enough to go into the unknown and say, I'm not going to accept what the world has given me. I'm going to ask myself what I'm going to do. But I think most of us, before we reach that bright light, it's when we are at our utmost end, at the bottom, when things are the darkest. But I believe it is because of that darkness that we push through to the light, or we don't, and we get lost.
What do you feel was the one hardest thing to overcome in your business, but you've since conquered that?
One of the most difficult things for me was having people see me as I wanted to be seen. I think as an entrepreneur, we are constantly growing personally, and our personal development is interlinked with our professional development. So I went from someone who was frail and fatigued and in bed, and I wasn't even able to sit up in the morning by myself, to somebody who was now running and jogging 3 miles a day. It was very difficult for me to go out into the public eye after having been seen as sick, to now being seen as well and in control, and look at all these things that I've accomplished. But being seen that way, I think, was the most difficult for me. As a woman, I went and I bought a new shirt, and I got new makeup, and I did my hair, and I went out there, and nope, I still felt weird, and I still didn't feel like I was receiving what I wanted to receive. So I decided to ask myself, well, what do I see when I look in the mirror? I started reading books by other leading women in their industries and finding out that women generally struggle with knowing our own value and our perceived value versus our actual value. When I was able to define those things and bring my real value to the forefront, then people were able to see me for who I really was. And that's what I would recommend other entrepreneurs do, especially women.
Mm-hmm. That's good. What was the most challenging client or client situation you've had, and how did you resolve it?
The most difficult client that I had and still have would be my very own father. This is a man who does not like to check his email, and he does not like to read. And much of the communication that I send him pertaining to his relationship that he has with me is via email. And trying to get him to engage. One of his favorite statements to me is always, "But Linda, I'm fine. I'm doing everything fine. I'm good." okay, you're not good. If you're perfect, you're not human. We can all grow. I always say to him jokingly, right? Because he's my dad, so I can talk to him a little bit differently than I would somebody else. Say, give me a break. You're not perfect, right? So getting him to understand that he hasn't peaked, that he does have room to grow at 55 years old, that you can continue to achieve things, and having to stay on him and get him to, again, like I was saying, see his value and understand that his role in life is not just to be father, employee, and provider, that he can do more and that he is his own person outside of his responsibilities. Overcoming that has taken about a year of consistently working with him. And that's really what life coaching is not letting go of folks.
Yes. That's interesting. I'm helping my mother with, through things like that as well. What one thing in your business are you currently struggling to overcome?
Doing so much at once and keeping pace with the market demands and the market speed of things. So I opt to learn a lot of things on my own versus paying somebody for that skill or a talent. I'll say, well, instead of paying $2,000, why don't I spend 20 hours, right, in equivalency and learn whatever it may be. And generally, by the time I've finished learning and become competent in that particular arena, guess what? There's something new and exciting out that I also now have to learn.
Oh, yeah.
And so being able to continuously learn everything new that's coming out and provide the same level of service and skills that we're doing now, that is always challenging for me.
What do you feel is your one biggest business triumph to date?
Well, I'm on your show here, aren't I?
Oh, look at that. I like that. That's the right answer.
This is it. There's a big mark on my calendar. It says interview.
That's good.
No, I'm very happy to be here with you. Biggest triumph for my business is probably realizing that my personal development is directly linked to my professional development. The majority of my business limitations that existed because of my own imposed limitations. And having to learn that fearful people don't build fearless companies. And the more that I overcame my own fears and limitations, the more that I could grow professionally. So my own business triumph has been learning to not be as fearful as I was, right? And to overcome those in order to overcome those obstacles in my business as well, because they really are interlinked.
What do you feel is your one biggest personal triumph today?
I have stayed fit. When I was ill and weak, lifting a gallon of milk, I would not have been able to do with even two hands. It was a difficult task. And I used to lay in bed and say to myself, when I get better, I'm going to be so strong and I'm going to be so fit and I'm going to look like those women in the magazines. Albeit I don't look like the women in the magazines, but I do look the way that I want to. And I have stayed firm on that commitment to myself, that once I got better, I would run, that I would lift weights, that I would love myself, and that I would do all these things that I wish I could have done before. And having that opportunity to start over and fulfilling that commitment every day, that for me personally has been my biggest success.
Yes, I love that. Hang tight, successors. We'll return to our conversation with Linda Lavender as well as quick success after a word from our sponsors. Are you a tense, tired, busy person who works day in and day out who tends to lack the proper sleep and energy? Using modular supplements, health-related articles, recipes, life hacks, and more, Bellison can help. With quality as high as Bellison, you're buying from a company that cares about the environment and only uses premium vegan supplements. That's Bellison.com. Want to learn how to cook healthy, exercise, and meditate in just 30 minutes a day? Bellison.com. Want to feel healthy, energetic, and focused like me? Bellison.com. To receive a 10% discount at checkout, visit Bellison.com with the coupon code THE4POS. Visit Bellison.com now. That's BELISAN.com. Compassion and quality without compromise. Bellison.com. And we're back with founder and owner of Eat2Live LLC, Linda Lavender. Now we get into the part of the show I like to call Quick Success, where you, Linda, can inspire the successors to enhance their lives in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Linda, what are you currently doing to enhance your knowledge?
Read. I read about 4 books at a time, from fiction to education to spiritually inspiring novels.
What are you currently doing to enhance your health?
I author several blogs for our members, including recipes, resources, and new holistic methods. So I'm always trying the latest, and I love sharing the outcomes. So juicing twice a day, jogging alone, and getting that quiet time, and then practicing living honestly with myself.
What are you currently doing to enhance your wealth?
Back to reading. Learning from other successful folks helps open up my possibilities. Secondly, learning a skill instead of paying for one not only saves me money, but it also builds professional wealth.
What are you currently doing to enhance your spirituality?
Spirituality and silence kind of seem to go hand in hand, don't they? I like to go to the forest where the canopy of the trees kind of hides me away from everything. And I like to go down the road to do that, where we have our classes, and just listen to the silence. Sometimes I jog to release the tough days. Other times I just simply sit in the shade by the lake and take time to reflect on what's happened, accept it, and plan for what's happening in the future.
When it comes to success, what do you feel is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I listened to Zig Ziglar for probably about 15 years and still do to this day.
Zig is awesome.
Yes, he is the godfather. And simply put, the best advice that I've received was from him. And it was simply that it's possible. Entrepreneurs are creative. They're brave. They're oftentimes the first, right, in their line or their niche or their industry. But above all else, we're dreamers. And the best advice that I ever got was the simple phrase of, it's possible. It's possible to live your dream. It's possible to act on what you see in your mind's eye. And most importantly, just not that it's only possible, but that it's possible for you and not just others.
I love that. You just made my dreams race in my mind as you were saying that. I love that. Are there any modern technologies or apps that help you achieve success?
Yes, I'm an absolute geek, right? Nearly everything I use involves technology or apps. I have the iPad Pro with the pencil. I really love this because a lot of my time is spent developing ideas or plans for my members, my clients. And so I spend a lot of time writing. And handwriting, and it's been shown scientifically, right, helps us to create new ideas, to envision what we're thinking, and the writing helps our brain stay on pace. So I like to use that for all of my notes and organizing it. And then I also am a huge fan of Kindle Unlimited with Amazon and Audible, so that way I can have lots of books all on one device, and then I can also listen when I'm driving or cooking or cleaning the house.
Okay. What new thing, book, activity, technology, or skill are you really excited to learn and dive into?
I am currently reading the book, The Truth About Cancer by Ty M. Bollinger. And this book not only talks about cancer, but it talks about the beginnings of experimental medicine. This talks about how pasteurization came about, vaccinations came about, and the different theories of handling pathogens in our own body. It's a totally dorky topic, but it's at the same time incredibly interesting. I'm also learning SEO for my company, which I know nothing about, so I'm super stoked to jump in and learn all of it. And then I'm also studying moringa, which is a tree, and the leaves are completely edible and are extremely good for your body. So those are the 3 things that I'm really excited about and working on at the moment.
As far as helping our listeners achieve success in whatever it is that they're doing, what piece of advice can you give them?
I would say to understand what success means for you, because it's different for each of us. Secondly, I'm a firm believer that success only comes through failure. So if you're trying to be successful at anything, you got to be prepared to fail, and a lot. What you learn from failure is what moves you closer to your success. And a lot of times at the beginning, that is incredibly difficult to be in, but you have to know that that is the path towards success. Lastly, and most importantly, you need to find your why, your passion, your purpose, because holding on to that reason when rejection comes, when bills don't get paid, or you don't achieve your goal, it's that purpose and that passion. That's what'll get you back up. That's what'll keep you moving towards your goal. And as an entrepreneur, it's part of our makeup to be rejected, to be the odd man out. And in the beginning, it may feel that way a lot. I know it did for me. But don't forget that entrepreneurs are also built to never quit. Don't quit. That would be my advice. Keep going. Keep trying, because it's in your blood.
Powerful. And Successors, Linda has a special offer for you with the 30 free promo code. Linda, what is that?
Well, I offer life coaching with one-on-one support to aid you in examining your life from a new objective standpoint, to help you find your why, like I was just talking about, and to provide specialized methods and tools to get you to your goal. 30 free, that's the promo code, so write that down, 30 free. You're going to get a 1-year Apples and Oranges membership for the first month completely free. And then the rest of the time, only $8.95 a month. That's literally it. It's cheaper than Netflix, and it'll absolutely change your life like it's done for people all over the country.
All right, you heard it right there, Successors. Go to Eat2Live to get your first month's free membership with the promo code 30FREE. That's 30FREE. All the information will be on the 4POS.com website in the show notes. Linda, how can our listeners connect with you?
That's as easy as kale salad. You can just visit my website at www.eat2live2love.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter at Eat2Live2Love. Or if you want to get the behind the scenes of what's going on, you can check us out on Instagram at Lavender's E2L.
Finally, Linda, what's your definition of success?
Personal happiness and not being comfortable. I think when we're comfortable, we're not growing. And in order for me to be successful, I need to always be growing. So my personal growth is my success.
And there you have it, Successors. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Linda Lavender. Please check out more successful free content like this at the4pos.com, as well as rate and review wherever you find podcasts. Thanks for listening, and prepare for success. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
If you want to be more driven and more motivated in your life or business, go to the4pos.com/free book and grab a copy of my book, Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within. 25 Motivations of Personal Development and Life Success. Get it now at the4pos.com/free book. Again, that's the4pos.com/free book.